Hi everybody, so today we are going to be looking at writing linear equations, and specifically we're going to be writing them in slope-intercept form. So linear equations are written in many different ways. One way is slope-intercept form, and when we write in slope-intercept form, it looks like this. So y equals mx plus b. So when we're looking at this formula, the m in the equation is the slope, and the b is the y-intercept. So really, when we're going to be writing this equation, we are going to replace a number with m, which will be our slope, and then replace the b and put in a number, which will be the y-intercept. So let's go ahead and let's look at some examples. Given the slope and y-intercept, write the equation in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y equals, and then mx plus b. So remember, m is our slope and our y-intercept is b. So instead of m, so let me write this down. So y equals mx plus b. So instead of writing m, I'm going to take the m out, and I am going to put in 2 because that was my m. And then plus b, so I'm going to take out b, and I'm going to put in -1. Now we need to clean this up a little bit because this says plus -1. So we're going to rewrite this as y equals 2x, and then plus -1 is the same as -1. So this is our slope-intercept form. So really think we're going to take out the m, put in the slope, and then take out the b and put in the y-intercept. All right, so let's look at number 2. They say that our slope is -3/5. So just a reminder, slope is m. So in this case, m is -3/5. And our y-intercept is going to be the b, and in this case, b equals 4. So y equals, instead of m, we're going to put in -3/5, write x, and then instead of b, we're going to put plus 4. All right, let's look at number 3. So our slope, which is m, our m equals -3, and our y-intercept is also b, and b equals 2. So when we're writing our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, we are going to take out the m and put in -3. And then for our y-intercept, we are going to take out the b, and we are going to put in 2. So so our slope-intercept form is y equals -3x plus 2. All right, number 4. It says the slope equals -1. So remember, slope is our m. And y-intercept, which is our b, that equals 7. So when I'm writing my equation, y equals mx plus b. So instead of writing m, we're going to take the m out, and we're going to put in, it says m equals -1, so we're going to put in a -1x. And then instead of b, we're going to take out our b, and we're going to write 7. So there is a way to simplify this. And to simplify this, we could also write -1x just as y equals -x plus 7. So you can write it either way. You can write it as y equals negative x plus 7, or you can write it as y equals negative 1x plus 7. Both of those are the right equation. All right, so you go ahead and you do number 5 and number 6. Okay, so we can also write slope-intercept form when they give us a graph, but this time we are going to have to, find our m, and we are also going to have to find what our b or y-intercept is. So when we're looking at a graph, the first thing is we need to have 2 points established on the line. So here they have given us 2 points. Okay, to go from one point to the other, we are going to do rise over run. So from this first point, we are going to go up and then over to the right. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go to the right 1. So if we rise up, that will be positive, and if we run to the right, it will be positive. So my m in this case is 3 over 1. The b is the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is where the graph crosses at this y-axis. So if I go down my y-axis, where does the graph touch my y-axis? Right here. That's where the graph touches my y-axis. That location is -1, -2, -3. That is at -4 on the y-axis. So my y-intercept is -4. And then we're going to go back to our equation and plug it in. So y equals mx plus b. We are going to take out our m, and we will put in 3 over 1, or just 3, that's fine too. And then we are going to take out our b, and our b is -4. Now let's simplify this up a little bit. We can write this as y equals 3 over 1 is the same as 3x, and then plus -4, we'll just write -4. All right, let's look at number 8. So let's find 2 points on our graph, and this time they've already found 2. So right there and there. So you really want to make sure when you are finding a point, it lines up perfectly in between the 4 squares that are kind of in the background. So if I look pretty closely, like this is another point, but they're not marking it for us, so we're not going to use it. So let's first find our slope. So to get from point 1 to point 2, I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I went down 6, and if I go down 6, that's a -6. And then I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I go down 6, right 4, down 6, right 4, we are going to now need to have to reduce this in our calculator. Okay, so we're going to need to reduce this fraction. So let's go to our graphing calculator. We're going to type in -6 divided by 4. And we're going to have the graphing calculator reduce it for us. So hit enter, and then we'll go to math, and then enter, enter. So this will reduce to -3 over 2. Okay, so -3 over 2. So that's my m. And then we said that our B is the point where the graph crosses through the y-axis. And here's my y-axis, so I'm going to go down, down, down. And this is where the graph crosses through. And that location is at, and I got to start from 0, 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is at point 7 on the y-axis. So let's go ahead and write our equation. Y equals, instead of m, I'm going to put in negative 3 over 2, x plus, and then instead of b, I'll put 7. Okay, so here we are given a graph again, and just a refresher, we need to find our m, which is our slope, and we go rise over run. And then we need to find our b, which is our y-intercept. So let's first figure out what our b is. And to figure that out, we start on the y-axis, and we figure out where the graph crosses the y-axis. And the location is right there. And that location is -1, -2, -3 on the y-axis. So our b equals -3. And then we need to find our slope. So to find our slope, we need to count from one point to the other. So I'm going to count from this point to the second point on my graph. And I'm going to count rise. So I'm going to go up 1, 2. And then I'm going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my slope is m equals 2 over 5. All right, let's check to see if the fraction reduces. So 2 divided by 5. And on your graphing calculator, you'll have to hit math, enter, enter. And 2 over 5 is as reduced as possible. Perfect. So since that's the most reduced version, we can go ahead and we can write our equation. Y equals, instead of m, we'll write 2/5 x plus b, and our b is -3. All right, let's go ahead and look at number 10. So let's first start by identifying what is my b. So my b is my y-intercept. So I'm going to start on my y-axis, and I'm going to go down to see where the graph intercepts my y-axis, and that is right there. The location, so let's go ahead and count down the y. So starting at 0, so -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So my b is -6. And then I need to identify what my slope is. So let's look for 2 points on our graph. And so I have a point here and a point there, and I'm going to rise over run. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes, and I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. So my rise is 5 and my run is 5. Now we can do this one. What is 5 divided by 5? That will reduce to 1. So let's go ahead and write down our equation. Y equals m, my m is 1, x plus my b, which is -6. Now let's go ahead and reduce that because we can combine a few things. This -1x can just become, or this 1x can become just an x. And plus -6, we can just write that as -6. So there is my equation. All right, and let's look at number 11. So we need to identify what our m is, and m is our slope. And we also need to identify our y-intercept, which is b. So let's find our y-intercept first. So I'm going to start on my y-axis, and I'm going to go down, 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 and my graph crosses right here on the y-axis. And that location is 1, 2, 3, 4, +5 on the y-axis. And then to figure out what our slope is, we need to do rise over run. So we're going to go from our y-intercept, because that's one point that is identified on our graph. And then the other point that's identified is right here. So to get from this first point, we're going to go down 1, 2. Yep, so that's down 2. And if I go down 2, that's a -2. And I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right 8. So my slope, my m, is down 2, 8. So if you go down, you need to make sure that your number is negative. If you go up, you need to make sure that your number is positive. If you go to the right, that number will also be positive. And if you go to the left, you need to make sure that that number is negative. So we're going to need to go to our graphing calculator, and we're going to need to see if -2/8 reduces. Okay, so -2 divided by 8. Then you'll have to hit math, enter in your calculator, and you would get -1/4. Okay, so this will reduce to -1/4. So that's my new m. So let's go ahead and write our equation. Y equals, and then we're going to do m, which that is -1/4, x plus our b, which is 5. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to do 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16.